Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be looking at the new Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a really interesting book.
Yeah.
And the premise is kind of that your self-image is like a mental blueprint
Yeah.
that shapes your behavior and your circumstances.
Yeah, it's like, it's not just like how you see yourself. It's a set of beliefs
Right.
that you act upon as if they were absolute truth.
Right.
You know, it's like the, almost like the operating system of your
Yep.
mind that's dictating how you're going to interact with the world.
It reminds me of a lot of the ideas like limbic memory,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
where, these experiences, particularly in childhood, can really have a lasting impact on our self-image.
Absolutely.
It's almost like they program us
Yeah.
in a certain way.
Imprinting, that
Totally.
way.
But Maltz also talks about how we can reprogram ourselves. And he talks about the power of imagination.
Yes, very powerful tool.
And he says that, the mind often can't even tell the difference between something that's real
Yeah.
and something that's vividly imagined.
Absolutely. And that's a good thing in a lot of ways because you can use it to your advantage.
Exactly.
Like imagine practicing for like a presentation or, like practicing your golf swing in your mind.
Right.
Your mind is actually processing that as real data.
Totally.
It's building mental muscle memory almost.
He gives an example of a man who believes he was ugly
Yeah.
and how that shaped his whole life.
Right. It can work for good or for ill.
Right. But thankfully, he doesn't just leave us there.
Yeah.
He has this idea of the automatic success mechanism.
Yeah.
And this is this idea that our minds are like geared towards success.
Yeah, we're all hardwired for it.
Yeah.
There's a catch though.
Okay.
Our imagination is what defines what success means to each of us.
Right. So it's almost like setting the destination in your GPS.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then your mind figures out how to get you there.
Yeah. And this mechanism's always at work, even in simple tasks.
Right.
Like even if you just reach to pick up a pencil,
Wow.
you're setting a mini goal and your mind is guiding you to achieve it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, pretty cool.
But the problem is that we sometimes set the wrong targets or let limiting beliefs
Right.
sabotage our efforts.
Absolutely.
And, these beliefs can act like self-hypnosis.
Yeah. Yeah, they really can. They can hold you back from your true potential.
He tells the story of Dr. Alfred Adler,
Oh, yeah.
who was hypnotized into believing that he couldn't learn math.
Right. And because of that, he struggled with it his whole life.
It's crazy how powerful that is.
Yeah. And even more concerning is what he calls the moral issue of it,
Oh, right.
where people will actually sabotage their own success just to stay true
Wow.
to their negative self-definitions. It's almost like they're afraid to break free from the familiar, even if it's harmful.
So how do we break free from those limiting beliefs?
Well, he says the key is rational thinking.
Okay. He says we need to use logic and reason to challenge these beliefs and replace them with positive, empowering ones.
Okay.
For instance, he describes a business executive who had like an invisible income ceiling because of his self-image.
Oh, wow.
And so despite opportunities to earn more, he subconsciously stayed within his perceived limit.
It's like he's trapped in a cage of his own making.
Exactly.
A mental cage.
But thankfully, Maltz gives us tools to escape.
Yeah.
He says that rational thinking can help us manage these negative emotions, like frustration and resentment,
Yeah.
and ultimately lead to a happier and more fulfilling life.
Absolutely. And he reminds us that self-acceptance is crucial for success and happiness.
Okay.
And it frees us from the burden of pretending to be someone we're not.
That makes sense.
It's like a traveler carrying unnecessary baggage. Once you become aware of it, you can set it down
Yeah,
and move more freely.
I like that.
Yeah.
Maltz also talks about overcoming what he calls the automatic failure mechanism.
Right. The flip side
Yeah.
of the success mechanism.
So, negative experiences can leave these emotional scars
yeah.
and, cause us to avoid situations or react aggressively.
Absolutely. And that hinders our progress and our happiness.
Right. We might shy away from opportunities or lash out at others.
Perpetuating a cycle of negativity.
And so what can we do about that?
Well, he says that we can build a stronger emotional immune system
Okay.
by not personalizing every perceived slight
Okay.
and by consciously stopping that negative self-talk.
Right.
We need to develop resilience and choose how we respond to challenging situations.
And He says that practicing acts of courage and kindness can actually help to reprogram
Yeah,
our responses to those old wounds.
absolutely. It's about choosing to act differently, even if it feels uncomfortable at first,
Okay.
to break free from those automatic negative reactions.
He then moves on to the idea of unlocking our real personality.
Yeah.
And he's suggesting that too much self-criticism can actually stifle
Uh-huh.
our true selves.
Yeah, it's like we're constantly second-guessing ourselves and afraid to really express who we are.
Right.
He gives this example of stuttering
Okay.
to illustrate how excessive self-consciousness can sabotage even basic functions.
Wow.
When we're too focused on how others perceive us, we can trip ourselves up
Yeah.
and prevent our authentic selves from shining through.
So how do we overcome that fear and unleash our true selves?
Well, he recommends things like practicing public speaking,
Okay.
which can help build confidence in expressing ourselves.
Okay.
He also suggests focusing on giving love rather than receiving it.
Oh, interesting.
This shift in focus can free us from that constant need for external validation
Okay.
and allow us to connect with others more genuinely.
So it's more about the giving than the receiving.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he says, and maybe most importantly, be willing to make mistakes. Embrace imperfection.
Absolutely.
It allows us to learn and grow.
Yeah, instead of striving for perfection,
Yeah.
we can focus on progress and self-discovery.
I like that.
Yeah.
He then moves on to talk about finding inner peace.
Okay.
And he highlights how we can create our own kind of do-it-yourself tranquilizers
Oh, that's interesting.
by learning to control our reactions
Yeah,
and manage stress.
absolutely.
And he talks about relaxation techniques like deep breathing or meditation,
Right.
and how those techniques can create a psychic screen
Yeah.
between us and disturbing stimuli.
Yeah, like a buffer,
Right.
to help us stay calm amidst the chaos.
He uses the analogy of a foxhole in the mind.
I like that.
It's like a safe space.
Yeah, a retreat.
Right, where we can go
Yeah.
to rest and rejuvenate.
For sure.
He also talks about the power of turning crisis into opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
He says that, our reactions to a crisis can determine whether we crumble
Yeah,
or rise to the occasion.
for sure.
And he stresses the importance of staying goal-oriented
Okay.
and seeing crises as points of decision.
Yeah.
That can lead to positive change.
It's about reframing our perspective
Right.
and focusing on what we can control.
And he shares examples of people who use Psycho-Cybernetics to overcome adversity
Uh-huh.
and achieve remarkable success.
Yeah, it's a testament to the power of the mind
Yeah.
to shape our reality even in difficult circumstances.
And finally, he talks about cultivating that winning feeling.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
And he says that we can tap into this feeling
Yeah.
by focusing on past successes
Uh-huh.
and visualizing future achievement.
Yes, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy.
He tells a story of a professional speaker who reignited his passion by setting this simple goal
Oh, wow.
to play golf on famous courses
Okay.
across the country.
I love that.
And it shows that even these seemingly small goals can have a ripple effect
Yeah,
on our overall sense of purpose and accomplishment.
absolutely.
And that resonates with me.
Yeah.
Success breeds success
Yes,
by focusing on our wins no matter how small.
it builds momentum.
Right.
Yeah, and confident.
We build momentum and confidence, and that propels us forward.
Right.
And it all ties back to this idea that our self-image is malleable
Right, we can reshape it.
by choosing to focus on our strengths and successes.
Yeah, we unlock our true potential.
And we have more power over our lives than we often realize.
Yeah.
So what stood out to you the most?
Well, I think the idea that our self-image is not fixed, that it can be reshaped, is incredibly empowering.
Right.
We're not stuck with the beliefs we've inherited or developed over time.
We have the power to choose a different, more empowering narrative for ourselves.
Exactly.
I agree. It's a reminder that we're not victims of our circumstances
Yeah.
or our past experiences.
For sure.
We have the power to choose our thoughts, and our thoughts shape our reality.
What about you? What resonated with you?
I'm really intrigued by the concept of the automatic success mechanism.
Yeah,
It suggests that we're all wired for success
we are.
with this innate drive to achieve.
Yeah,
But the challenge, I think, is becoming conscious of this mechanism
right.
and directing it toward goals that are meaningful to us.
Absolutely.
It's like we all have this incredible potential
Yeah,
within us,
it's there.
but we need to be intentional about where we're aiming it.
Yeah, that connects back to setting the right target,
Right.
and becoming aware of those limiting beliefs that might be holding us back.
Right.
Identifying those negative self-definitions
And challenging them.
and challenging them with rational thought, clear a path
Right.
for that automatic success mechanism to operate effectively.
And then we can use our imagination
Yes.
to create a new vision for ourselves
Powerful tool.
that aligns with our true potential.
Absolutely. And he also talks about the importance of finding inner peace,
Yes.
creating that foxhole in the mind
Right.
where we can retreat from the stresses of the outside world.
And that really resonates with me,
Yeah,
especially in today's world,
for
where
sure.
we're constantly bombarded
Right.
with information and stimulation.
Yeah. Finding ways to disconnect and create space
Right.
for stillness and reflection is essential.
For our well-being.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Maltz offers these practical techniques for achieving this, like relaxation exercises and visualization.
Yeah.
He also stresses the importance of managing stress and developing emotional resilience,
Yeah.
which are essential for navigating life's challenges.
For sure.
He reminds us that crisis can be an opportunity for growth,
Yeah.
a chance to reevaluate our priorities and make positive changes.
Absolutely. It's not about avoiding difficulties, but learning to see them as stepping stones on our path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Psycho-Cybernetics serves as a guidebook for taking control of our minds and shaping our lives.
Absolutely.
It's about understanding our own power and using it to create a reality that aligns with our deepest desires.
It's a message of empowerment and hope,
Yeah,
reminding us that we're not just victims of circumstance,
right.
but active participants in shaping our own destinies.
And this brings us to a thought-provoking point that Maltz touches on.
Okay.
Could society's emphasis on youth and productivity actually be contributing to aging and burnout?
That's interesting.
It's an interesting idea that challenges us to examine our own beliefs about aging.
What if instead of fearing the passage of time,
Right.
we embrace the wisdom and experience that come with each passing year?
It makes you wonder if our fear of growing old, our constant striving to be productive and youthful, is actually accelerating the aging process.
It's a question worth exploring further.
Yeah.
Perhaps by shifting our focus from external validation to inner fulfillment, from a fear of decline to a celebration of wisdom and experience, we might unlock a new level of vitality and purpose.
It's a reminder that true youthfulness might not be about clinging to the past,
Yeah.
but embracing the present moment
Yeah.
with all its possibilities.
The fullness of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a powerful shift in perspective, Instead of viewing aging as a decline,
Right.
we can see it as a process of growth and evolution.
That's a great point. It reminds me of that quote, "Do not regret growing older. It is a privilege denied to many."
Exactly. And perhaps by embracing this perspective, we can tap into a different kind of energy,
Yeah.
a vitality that comes from living authentically and embracing the fullness of our experiences.
It's like we've been sold this idea that youth is the only time for success and happiness, when in reality, each stage of life has its own unique beauty and potential.
Yeah. And Psycho-Cybernetics encourages us to tap into that potential.
Right.
Regardless of our age, it reminds us that we have the power to create a fulfilling life by shaping our self-image, setting the right goals, and harnessing our innate success mechanism.
It's about taking ownership of our lives and realizing that we're not just passive bystanders, but active creators of our own reality.
Absolutely. And this creation process involves using our imagination, challenging limiting beliefs, and cultivating inner peace. It's
Yeah.
a journey of self-discovery and empowerment.
So as we wrap up our exploration of Psycho-Cybernetics, what's one key takeaway you would leave our listener with?
I would say this: remember that your self-image is not set in stone. It's malleable. You have the power to reshape it. Choose to focus on your strengths, your successes, and the qualities you admire in yourself.
Right.
Visualize the person you want to become and start acting as if you're already that person.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
It's about taking those first steps, even if they're small,
Yeah,
and trusting that the process of change unfolds over time.
absolutely. And don't be afraid to challenge those negative self-definitions that might be holding you back.
Right.
Ask yourself, is this belief really true? Does it serve me? If not, use rational thought to dismantle it and replace it with a more empowering belief.
It's about becoming aware of those mental patterns that might be sabotaging our efforts and consciously choosing to think differently.
Exactly. And remember, you have an incredible power within you. The automatic success mechanism.
Yeah.
It's constantly working in the background, guiding you towards your goals. Become aware of this power, define what success means to you, and set those targets with intention.
It's about harnessing that innate drive to achieve and directing it towards a life that is meaningful and fulfilling.
And as you embark on this journey of self-transformation, Remember to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and learn from your mistakes. You're not striving for perfection, but for growth and authenticity.
That's a great reminder. It's about embracing the journey, not just the destination.
And above all, remember that you have the power to create a life you love. It's a process, a journey, but with the principles of Psycho-Cybernetics as your guide, you can achieve amazing things.
Yeah, it's inspiring to think about,
Potential.
the potential we all have.
It really is. And I think that's the beauty of Psycho-Cybernetics. It gives us a framework, a set of tools to unlock that potential and create a life that's truly aligned with our deepest desires.
And it all starts with that self-image, that mental blueprint that shapes our actions and our outcomes.
Exactly. If we want to change our lives, we need to start by changing our self-perception.
Yeah.
We need to replace those limiting beliefs with empowering ones and visualize ourselves achieving our goals.
And Maltz provides so many practical techniques to help us do that.
Yeah.
From mental practice and visualization to stress management and emotional resilience.
He even encourages us to find those moments of inner peace, to create that foxhole in the mind where we can recharge and connect with our true selves.
It's a reminder that self-care isn't selfish. It's essential
Yeah.
for our well-being and our ability to thrive.
And ultimately, Psycho-Cybernetics is about taking responsibility for
Yeah.
our own happiness and success.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we have the power to choose our thoughts, our reactions, and ultimately the direction of our lives.
It's a message of empowerment and hope,
Yeah.
reminding us that we're not just victims of circumstance, but active participants in shaping our own destinies.
And as we conclude our exploration of Psycho-Cybernetics, we encourage you to consider this final thought-provoking question that Maltz poses.
Okay.
Could society's emphasis on youth and productivity actually be contributing to aging and burnout?
It's a fascinating idea that challenges us to examine our own beliefs about aging.
What if instead of fearing the passage of time, we embrace the wisdom and experience that come with each passing year?
What if we shifted our focus from external validation to inner fulfillment, from a fear of decline to a celebration of the richness of life's journey?
Perhaps by redefining what it means to age gracefully, we can unlock a new level of vitality, purpose, and joy.
We hope this deep dive into Psycho-Cybernetics has inspired you to explore these ideas further and consider how you can apply them to create a more fulfilling and meaningful life.